Let's talk about jobs again. Welcome back to another episode of the Barbados Walker. Today we're going to be talking about jobs. So this video is going to be slightly different from the other one that I did, because in the other one I was just generally talking about the economic landscape of Barbados, what to expect when it comes to job availability, what kinds of jobs, in general. But today I want to go into a little bit more specific details about what kinds of jobs are most common in Barbados. Now, I'm not going to be covering every single job in Barbados, obviously, because this video is going to take 2 days to make. But I'm going to be talking about categories, right? Generally, the big categories of jobs and things you can expect under each category. So whether you're already in Barbados, as a Bayesian local, and I also should comment on the full free movement. I have a video on the full free movement. People who came in on the full free movement, or other people from CARICOM that have opportunity to work here, you can also apply for these jobs. Now, for foreigners who are coming from outside the countries that have the full free movement agreement and outside CARICOM, the Caribbean community, you're coming from maybe places like Asia, Africa, South America, North America, Europe, wherever it is you're coming from. I'm going to talk about specifically the kinds of jobs that you can expect to get later on in this video, after I talk about the more general ones, right? And the only thing you need to keep in mind, to know whether these jobs apply to you, is that you should understand first, I've said this many times, that Barbados requires employers to prove that no local can do the job before a work permit for a foreigner is granted. So an employer cannot just say, I need a driver, and because I need a driver, I'm going to employ someone all the way from Kenya, or all the way from Pakistan, or all the way from Mexico or somewhere, right? They have to first prove that no local can do the job. And so you see that when it comes to many of these jobs that don't require a very high amount of skill, and by that I mean somebody can learn it in a short period of time, many locals are already going to have those skills. So when it comes to things like driving, or things like construction work or carpentry or whatever, it's going to be very, very, very difficult for an employer to prove that a local can't do that job and they need to hire a foreigner. So because of that, many of these low entry jobs, these jobs that require low skill level, or even if it's a relatively high amount of skill, the skill can be learned quite easily or in a short period of time. Many locals are already going to have those skills naturally, and because of that, there's going to be a very large supply of that skill, and so employers will have to hire locals. Now, there are one or two cases where you have that because there is such a high demand for something, the number of people who are supplying that skill is limited, and so employers are going to have to look for people outside. But that is rare, and I've seen that thing happen in a few cases where, because in a period of time there are so many buildings going up very quickly, because Barbados is constantly developing, and because of that there are so many buildings going up, roads are getting fixed and new roads are being built in places that didn't have roads before. So the development is quite rapid because there is such a fast economic boom, right? Barbados is currently growing very rapidly, I should say. So because of that, there is a lot of building, but there's a finite number of people who have buildings. Obviously, the population of Barbados is small compared to other bigger countries, and not everybody is a builder, not everybody is a construction worker. Obviously, you have people in other sectors. So because of that, even though the skill is so easily accessible, the number of people who offer the skill is still limited. And so in those periods where there is a lot of demand for people who are good with, I don't know what the official terms are, but bricklaying, plumbing, carpentry, people who have these skills, people in construction in general. Many of them are going to already be occupied, busy. And so in those periods, you may see employers hiring foreigners. Now, I say this because anytime I say employers have to prove that no local can do the job, somebody is going to mention, oh, but I saw some foreigners doing a job here and locals can do that job. There are two things that you need to understand. Number one, it depends on when that foreigner was hired, right? When was that foreigner hired? If no Bayesian was available who could do that job, then the employer could prove that they had these offers available and they advertised it and they were not able to get any local, so they had to hire a foreigner. The second thing you have to realize is that sometimes there are locals that have that skill, but they are just not enough. So for example, if an employer needs to hire 70 people with a particular skill, but he can only find 40 that are local and available, the remaining 30 have to come from somewhere, right? So if you see foreigners getting job in Barbados and it looks like these opportunities are things that locals could have done, it doesn't mean that they managed to get around the rule. It just means that depending on the time and the availability and all of those things, they might have needed foreigners, okay? So just keep that in mind while we go through all of this stuff. Let's go through them. So the number one, tourism and hospitality. Tourism and hospitality is the largest employer so far, right? By far in Barbados, because the more Barbados grows and develops and the more people learn about Barbados, because Barbados is in the news a lot for good things, right? So the more people learn about Barbados, the more it becomes that not so secret location anymore, because people have been coming to Barbados for vacation for a very long time, but it's like one of those best kept secrets, so to speak. But the more Barbados becomes mainstream, tourism is only going to get bigger. Like, it's already a huge thing in Barbados, but it's just going to get bigger. New hotels are getting built, new restaurants are getting built, new guest houses are getting built. There's so many. The tourism sector in Barbados is booming. So Barbados is going to need hotel staff, tour guides, bartenders, chefs, wait staff, housekeeping, resort managers. All of these things are extremely common things that you can expect to keep growing as tourism keeps booming, and it drives a huge share of the Barbados gross domestic product, right? The Barbados GDP. So this is one of the biggest areas where Barbados is going to start seeing a growth in the number of people that are being hired. Another thing is that in the Caribbean, a lot of people study hospitality in colleges to get their associate's degree or even their bachelor's degree. So you have a huge supply of that that is matching a huge demand of that and a growing demand of that. So we are going to see more of these job opportunities popping up. The next one is retail and trade. Now, retail and trade covers clerks, cashiers, vendors, small business operators, particularly in Bridgetown and along the west coast, and I would say maybe also along the south coast, right? Because again, all of these things are interconnected. You can't think about it as entirely separate sectors. All of them are interconnected, because as more people are coming into Barbados, they are going to be buying more stuff and more businesses are going to be opening, and some of the people, like, as more people are coming in, they're going to be falling sick because human beings get sick, right? And they're going to need more healthcare. So healthcare sector is also going to need a lot of staff and a lot of resources, and then those people are also going to need to make money, send in money, bring in money, transfer money. And so the finance and banking sector is also going to need more staff. And then those people are going to drive on Bajan roads. So you also need like construction. They're going to live somewhere. So the real estate market and so on and so forth. Everything is connected. So as one sector is booming, especially on a small island, you expect it to affect every other sector in Barbados, every other sector. So as I'm talking about this stuff, I want you to just be thinking about how they're interconnected, so that even though I forget to mention something or it's not on my list of the things I want to talk about, you can already see how it will interconnect with those other things and how it will create job opportunities. All right? So the next one is public service or government. Now, there is no way, I don't know of a way to predict how this is going to grow or what the government is going to need. But right now, the government is a significant employer as well, and it employs civil servants, teachers, police officers, nurses, administrative staff, and so on and so forth. There is no way that I know of to know how to predict when the government is going to need to employ more people and when the government is going to want to cut back on the number of people that are employed. But generally right now, and obviously this is going to be mostly for the locals, the government is one significant employer to look out for, right? The next one is healthcare. Now, healthcare is tricky because you can't just get a job in healthcare. You generally need a lot of qualifications. You either need to go and study to be a nurse or to be a doctor or to get your pharmacy degree or chemistry or whatever. You need to have something in the healthcare, like a certificate or a degree or something in the healthcare sector before you can get these jobs, obviously. But if it's something that you're looking to study, it takes generally anywhere from 4 years to 7 years or so, depending on the process you take and if you have any challenges along the way or not. But generally, you can expect it to be about that long. But interestingly, because it is difficult and it takes long, and by difficult, I don't mean like it's objectively difficult or whatever, like it's impossible for people to do, but that most people are afraid of it. This is what I keep saying on this channel. If something looks difficult and most people are afraid of it, they won't do it, which creates a demand for it because there will be a limited supply of that thing. So if it's something that you're thinking of, you know that you're going to have opportunities in Barbados because Barbados has been bringing in healthcare workers from outside Barbados for as long as I can remember, right? Given that Barbados is has one of the best healthcare sectors in the Caribbean, a lot of people from neighboring islands come to Barbados to get treated. Barbados also has free healthcare for locals. So many people in Barbados just use the healthcare. Like they're supposed to benefit from the healthcare system. So they are going to use the healthcare system. But because you have so many people, like people passing through Barbados, people coming to Barbados for healthcare, for the healthcare system, locals benefiting from the healthcare system, you have a huge demand, a very huge demand. And there are just a finite number of Bajans that are actually studying to become healthcare workers. So because of that, Barbados is going to need more people. And so almost every year, I think it's every year right now, I'm not sure, but regularly you have a lot of foreigners coming in to service the healthcare system in Barbados because the demand is just too high for locals to cover everything. So in places like this, and this is what I keep saying on this channel, instead of focusing on what is the easiest job you can get, try to think about what is the most in-demand thing that people are scared to do. Master that thing and you will always have job opportunity. This is how you have to rewire your thinking. So instead of asking me, oh, I just need a quick job to make quick money. I don't know how you can get a quick job to make quick money, because quick job and quick money has a lot of supply. Everybody can do quick jobs. Everybody can make quick money, right? So if you're thinking about something that is going to last you 5 years, 10 years, maybe for the rest of your lifetime, you shouldn't be thinking about how to get a quick job and make quick money. You should be thinking more long term, right? Long term. Because frankly speaking, you don't need this channel to tell you how to make quick money. You can just go and ask someone to wash their car, or you can ask someone to, babysit or take care of their animals or help them in the garden or whatever. And people are willing to pay for this all the time. Every time, people are willing to pay for it. But how much are you going to make from doing that? How many cars are you going to wash? And at how much? Do you get? Unless you're going to set up like a full-blown car washing service business, in which case it's not a quick job and quick money. It's a full business. You get it, right? So if you're going to think about long term, it can't just be something you wake up one morning and decide to do. It has to be something that you plan for and you pursue, something other people will consider difficult and they can't pursue. So you don't have so many competitors. You don't have a lot of competition. You and a handful of other people are people who can do it, and you're always needed. You're always wanted. Do you get it? That's what we are talking about. That's how you should start rethinking. Anyway, let's keep going. Finance and banking. Now, finance and banking is a notable sector. Barbados serving as an offshore financial center for so many entrepreneurs across the world, right? They're looking for places in the Caribbean that they can do business in and all of this stuff. But so because of that, long story short, because of that, Barbados will be employing a lot of, I'm saying Barbados as in, I don't mean the government, I mean like businesses in Barbados, but you get the point. So Barbados will be employing a lot of accountants, bankers, compliance officers, financial analysts. All of these people are going to be in high demand. People that can look at financial trends in the world. People that can look at numbers and figure out what is going on with these numbers. What needs to be done? What forms do you need to file? What papers do you need to fill out? What does the government require for you to be compliant? What does your business need to do in order to be compliant with the government? And so on and so forth. All the people who are good with these financial issues, money matters, and all of this, many of them are going to need certifications and degrees, obviously, because you're dealing with money. And many times the money you're dealing with is millions of dollars, hundreds of thousands of dollars. Right? So they're not just going to put anybody there, right? So this is going to be a very, very good sector to look at as well. Then we also talked about construction and trades. Again, because Barbados is growing, there are a lot of buildings coming up. So electricians, plumbers, masons, contractors, all of that, driven by the ongoing real estate and infrastructure development that is going on in Barbados, you're going to need a lot of those people. Now, I said at the beginning of this video, many of these jobs can be done by locals, right? However, you may see that at certain peak periods, for whatever the case may be, construction is going so fast. So many buildings are being set up at the same time. They're being built at the same time. Barbados needs so many workers at the same time. And because the locals cannot satisfy every single opportunity, foreigners may be brought in. But that is not usually the case. Okay? So moving on. Education. Education employs a large number of teachers and administrators at both the primary, secondary, and also the tertiary level. So you're at the tertiary level, you're thinking about maybe the Barbados Community College or University of the West Indies, Cave Hill, because that is a huge campus in Barbados. And yes, Barbados has a huge UE campus. So they are going to be looking for qualified teachers. Same with the primary schools and secondary school. Now, of course, before you teach in Barbados, you need to have the teaching, I think it's called the teaching certificate or the teaching license. I don't know what it's called. But you have to get that. And then they look at your degrees, like I'm talking especially if you're coming from outside, right? So you're going to generally need to have your degrees converted or translated, I don't know the official word, into the Barbados system. So the Barbados Accreditation Council is going to look at your degree that you got from outside Barbados, and they are going to convert it to the equivalent degree in Barbados, right? And then you're going to get a teaching license or teaching certificate, and with those two things, you can get a job either at a primary school level or secondary school level, or if you have like advanced degrees, masters, PhD, stuff like that, you can actually apply. If there's availability, you can teach at universities in Barbados. Okay, so other universities like the Ross University, School of Medicine. You also have the American University that also teaches medicine. There are some other universities obviously in Barbados, but these are just examples. And if they have availability and you have the qualification that they are looking for, you can teach them, right? Okay, moving on. Manufacturing. So manufacturing covers food, beverage products. So you're thinking things like rum, beer. You also have garments, light industry goods, and maybe sugar, medical supplies, fashion, electronics, pharmaceuticals. I don't know much about this industry in Barbados or in the Caribbean, but it exists. That's the word I'm looking for. It exists. So don't know much about it. If you're interested in it, you will have to do more research. I can't tell you more about it. Okay, the next one is agriculture, right? Agriculture is relatively small in Barbados, maybe just about 1 to 2% of the GDP, but it's small compared to everything else in Barbados. Not that it is objectively tiny. No, it's just relative to things like tourism, things like finance and banking, things like healthcare. Agriculture seems to be smaller than all of them. Right? But it still employs workers in crop farming, livestock agriculture, even agribusiness. So, yes, Barbados does employ quite a number of people in the agricultural sector. So, roles in hospitality, so tourism and hospitality, nursing, IT, information technology, and skilled trades appear consistently among the most sought-after positions on the island. So this is something else you have to think about. When you're thinking about jobs, it's not just what is available, but also what has high competition or low competition, high supply, low supply, high demand, low demand. Those are the things that you're also thinking about. Because if you're going to get employed, whether as a local or as a foreigner, right? The jobs are not just going to be waiting there for you and just be handed over to you. It's still the job market in 2026. Whether you're talking about Barbados, the United States, India, Nigeria, Mexico, whatever, the job market as it is now is tough for everyone. So the best way to differentiate yourself is to learn skills that are in demand and that are difficult to learn, that people think are difficult to learn. If you position yourself there, trust me, you will always be in demand. You will always be in demand. But if you're doing what everybody else is doing, because everybody said that if you do that, you're going to get jobs, then think about it. Everybody is doing it. Everybody knows about it. Everybody thinks it's easy to do. Therefore, everybody is going to be doing it alongside with you, which means you're going to be in serious competition. Okay, now let me highlight again the ones that are perfect for foreigners. especially if you have gotten some skills, maybe some degrees, some certificates, some work experience. That is another thing. Even in areas that don't need skills or certificates or whatever, you may need some work experience in years, maybe 5 years of work experience in a particular sector, in a particular field, in order for you to get the opportunity. So let's go through them again. Number 1, again, this is for foreigners specifically. Everything I mentioned here, foreigners can do them in Barbados, usually. Okay? So, number 1, finance and offshore business. Again, I said Barbados is a well-established offshore financial sector. So you're going to have positions in banking, investment, management, offshore business sectors, all of this thing. And this attracts international professionals all the time. Why? Because it's difficult to find people who are specialized in or who have specialized knowledge in, say, international tax or compliance or fund management, for example. These are not things you just wake up and watch a YouTube video and learn how to do. So there are so many people, you will not find so many people who can do it. Okay? So people who have the right qualifications, certifications, work experience, licenses, and so on and so forth, they're very hard to come by in this field. So Barbados doesn't have just a surplus of them that they can pull from anyone at any time. And that is why many foreigners can benefit, can get opportunities to do these jobs in Barbados. The second one is one that I talked about as well, healthcare, right? Healthcare, Barbados has brought in nurses from Ghana multiple times, several nurses from Ghana. Barbados benefited during the COVID from healthcare workers that came in from Cuba, right? So because of how healthcare is, because going to medical school is expensive and difficult and takes lots of years and so on and so forth, there are very few locals who would want to go that route. Now, they can be in hundreds or dozens or hundreds, right? But compared to the demand, it is still very, very tiny, the number of people that are locals who are in the healthcare sector. So because of that, Barbados is going to be bringing in or accepting foreigners who have the required skills and certifications, obviously, and maybe sometimes work experience. I don't really know how the actual employment happens, but I've seen dozens of foreigners get employed in Barbados in the healthcare sector, if not hundreds, but definitely dozens. Okay, so tourism and hospitality, okay, especially specialist roles. So we're thinking about luxury properties, maybe in things like private villa jobs for hospitality professionals who are experienced with high-end tourism. And then we also need people who have international experience. Maybe I'm trying to think of examples now. And then maybe people who are also good in management, in events and guest services at premium resorts, for example. You see, the way you have to think about it is for the normal, not normal, how should I describe this? For the low-level positions, yes, that's the word. For the low-level positions, for the entry-level positions, there are so many people in the Caribbean who have hospitality degrees, associate's degrees, and certifications. So you're not going to find a lot of those opportunities available as a foreigner because there are so many of them either in Barbados specifically or CARICOM, Caribbean Community, right? So, but for senior positions, people who have management experiences, people who have experience with international tourism and hospitality sectors, with high-end tourism, luxury properties, private villas, those kind of experiences, you wouldn't find plenty of them. Why? Because it takes years and it takes a lot of, work experience to get to that level. So just like with any field, if the low level is available, like if there is high supply for the low entry or the low level jobs, just improve your skill level and usually opportunities are going to open up, right? So same thing in tourism. Normally I wouldn't recommend tourism because a lot of people in the Caribbean have certificates and degrees in tourism. A lot of people have. But it's usually going to be low entry positions. Not that there are not people with a lot of experience. Obviously, in every field, there are going to be locals with high level experience and certifications and qualifications, but there are going to be few, okay? And that is why I can recommend tourism and hospitality. Okay, moving on. Technology and IT, information technology or computer science, those kinds of fields, right? So Barbados lacks a deep local tech talent pool. This is just objectively, right? They don't have so many experienced developers, cybersecurity professionals, and IT infrastructure specialists. So usually these people are going to be foreigners, right? So if you have a lot of certificates, licenses, degrees, work experience, and so on and so forth, this is a very good opportunity. You can apply and you can get jobs when you see these opportunities pop up. The reason is again the same as every other role that I've talked about in this video. You're going to have people who are just learning about it, and there are going to be many of them. So if you're thinking about, oh, you're just going to be the tech guy or the cashier or the, I don't know, you just fix some bugs or you connect wires and you can set up a security camera or something like that, or surveillance. Many of these opportunities are going to be taken because many people can do it. So many people can do it. So many locals can do it. But when it comes to cybersecurity professionals on the level of securing very private businesses, or even cybersecurity on the level of banking and finance, or on that high level, you're not going to have many people who have those skills, that level of experience or certifications or degrees or whatever. Something else that I've been saying over and over again is certifications, licenses, degrees, paper. You need paper, right? You need a government to tell you you are good. And the way government tells you are good is by giving you a piece of paper, right? So many times, people are going to have so much experience in a particular job or a particular field, and they're looking to get a job, go to the next level to get more pay, or I don't know, more recognition, or whatever it is that you're looking for, to be able to move to a different country maybe. And they keep trying and failing, and it's just because you don't have a piece of paper. Now, for those of you who know me personally, you know that I don't believe that formal education is the only way to learn something. In fact, I think that formal education is one of the slowest ways to learn something, because many times something that you can understand in just about a month, in formal education, they take a year to teach you and you write one exam and then they confirm that you've learned it. But you could have learned the entire thing in just 1 month. However, even though I don't believe that is the only way you can learn, or it's even the best way you can learn, if you're going to get a job, you usually need a piece of paper given to you by someone else that proves you know what you're talking about, right? I can't emphasize this enough. You can make money by yourself. Let me give you a very practical example that I've experienced personally. You can make money by yourself by simply going online, learning a bunch of skills, offering it to people who need those skills and making money from it. However, if you want to get a job that requires you to know business, you can't just say, I've been doing business for the past 5 years, I know what I'm talking about. Many jobs will just reject you immediately. Why? Because you don't have a piece of paper saying you're good enough. And so you need to get a bachelor's degree or a master's degree or an associate's degree or a license or some certificate, some professional certificate or whatever. You need to get something that proves you know what you're talking about. I remember so many years ago, I wanted to travel to Spain for an opportunity that I saw there. And I felt like I could handle it. In fact, many people who were already working in that field in Spain were about the level I was or even below my level. However, Spain did not approve the visa, would not approve the visa if you didn't have a professional certificate at the very least in business. At the very least, you needed a professional certificate in business to get that visa approval. So, yes, I understand it's a silly system to have in 2026 when a lot of work is driven by entrepreneurs who don't have much formal education training. If you look at many of the entrepreneurs in the world today, many of them are learning skills from the internet and implementing them. However, because we are talking about government level, right? And government doesn't just play with this stuff. They like to make sure that they are thorough. Because if you make a mistake on a government level, you're not just making a mistake for one person. You're making a mistake for everybody who is going to be affected by that decision. So because government has to be more careful about who they bring into the country, who they allow to work in certain important sectors in the country and so on and so forth, government is not just going to take your word for it. Government is not just going to take your experience or whatever for it. Government wants to see a piece of paper from a reputable organization that says you're good enough. So if you have a professional certificate from Google, from Facebook, from Nvidia, you have a cybersecurity certificate from a big cybersecurity company, you have a degree, a bachelor's degree in computer science or in information technology, you have a master's degree in finance or accounting, you have a medical degree. Like when you have these certificates, these licenses, these diplomas, these pieces of paper, you can convince any government that you know what you're talking about. So this is something I haven't said before, but I'm going to say it in this video, and moving forward, I think I should mention it. If you're already good at something, right? You're already good at something and you're struggling and you don't have it seems like you don't have a way forward. Try to find out if there is a piece of paper you can get in that thing from a reputable institution, and go and do the work and get that piece of paper. Even if you think you don't need it, or you think that you already know more than people who have that paper, no, it doesn't matter. When you're dealing with governments, they have to be very, very careful. And that is why they put all these rules in place, so that the person that finally makes it, and even at that, after government is so strict and so careful about all of these things, people with the right qualifications still come into countries and do rubbish, right? And they mess up. So it even makes government even more strict or stricter, right? Because if even people with qualifications are able to pull off fraudulent activities and all of this stuff, how much more can we expect horrible things from people who don't have certifications and degrees and licenses and all of that? That is how the people who make these policies are going to be thinking. And it makes sense, right? Because if you're willing to put in the work, the extra work, to get that piece of paper, to get that certificate, that license, that diploma, that degree, that whatever it is, it means that you're going to value yourself more. You're going to value your reputation more. You're going to try to be a little more disciplined, a little more diligent, a little more, on top of your game. Okay? So this is something that you should really consider. Can you do business? Get a piece of paper in business. Go to school for 2 years or 4 years. Get a piece of paper. Are you good with numbers? Get a piece of paper. Are you good with cybersecurity, with computer, with IT, whatever? Get a piece of paper. Go to a school, go to a reputable institution, do what they say you need to do, learn what they say you need to learn. At the end of the day, they're going to certify you. They're going to give you a diploma. They're going to do all of this stuff. Now, let me give you another trick that many people don't know. Your degree doesn't have to come from Harvard before it is respected. No. Your degree doesn't have to come from a place where you spent $1 million to get the degree before it is respected. No. Generally, if you're good enough, you're going to show you're good enough by your work. You're going to have a portfolio of things you've done. You're going to have job experiences and all of those things. And those things will speak for you more than any paper can speak for you. However, the paper is going to get you through the door. You are not going to be screened out because of a piece of paper. The paper will get you through the door, and then you'll demonstrate your excellence by your work, by your portfolio, by your job experience, and so on and so forth, right? So get a piece of paper, even if it's from a community college, even if it's from a quote-unquote cheap school or whatever, doesn't matter. Just get a piece of paper. Make sure your school is properly accredited. I think that's the word, right? Make sure the government of your country recognizes the school. It's not just somebody's backyard where they print papers. No, let it be a formal institution, an accredited, I have to look up this word in the dictionary. Make sure it is a real university or a real college or a well-recognized business that is giving this thing, and that it has value to the government. The moment you have proven that, even if it is a cheap place, even if it is very, very cheap, get the piece of paper, right? It will save you a lot of headache. Trust me. I have an associate's degree, I have a bachelor's degree, I have a master's degree. I didn't have any of these things just a few years ago. But just having them ends a lot of conversations very quickly. Because when you say something, you have a government-approved piece of paper to back your words. And people respect you more. You get more opportunities that way, right? You don't have to explain yourself too much. They just see the piece of paper and they know you know what you're talking about. Usually. Okay? So, I've talked about a lot of these things. If you just want to come here and you just want to live in the country and you don't care about the jobs or whatever, you have your own money, you want to do your own thing, you can come on the remote work visa, the welcome stamp. All you have to do is to have 50,000 US. Yeah, $50,000 a year. That's the minimum annual income you need to have. And you also need to have health insurance coverage. If you have these two things, you can apply for the welcome stamp. Barbados is going to grant you the welcome stamp. You pay a fee. I think you pay, depends on if you're an individual or if you're coming with family or whatever, the price, the fee is different. And then you pay that fee once a year and they renew it every year. So you don't have to struggle with finding a job here or whatever. You just come, you work online, you spend the money in Barbados, you enjoy your life here in Barbados. You're contributing to the economy and the government loves you. You're not taking any jobs from anyone. and you're completely contributing cash, essentially, to Barbados. Okay, so this is ideal for freelancers, digital entrepreneurs, remote employees, all of those people. I'm going to make a different video about Welcome Stamp and tell you more about it, but I'm just trying to summarize this. Okay, so these are the jobs you can get in Barbados. If you have any questions and I can answer them, you leave them in the comment section below. I'm going to try to answer them. If I can't answer them, I'll refer you to where I think you can get answers. You can also email me using the email in my bio on my profile. So just email me there if you have anything, and I'll do my best. Thank you very much for watching this video. I'll see you in the next video tomorrow. Bye-bye.